Did you test positive for high-risk HPV virus? And now your doctor is telling you to come back in 6 months to 12 months and retest and see if it's still testing positive and if there's any abnormal cells and if it has progressed. And then you go back in 6 to 12 months and lo and behold, it's still positive, or maybe there's abnormal cells. And you're thinking, what the heck? How did I get into this situation? And what am I going to do? How am I going to prevent this from progressing and getting worse? And the thing is that your doctor is likely not to help you to know that there's anything you can do to help yourself clear HPV virus to negative. But what we know from research is that 90% of cases clear high-risk HPV to negative within 2 years. So really what your doctor is doing is they're waiting to see if you're going to be in the 90% that your immune system clears high-risk HPV to negative on its own within 2 years. If it remains longer than 2 years, and or if you start to develop abnormal cells, then we know you're in the 10% that are not clearing HPV, which is called persistence. The virus has become persistent. And in that case, then you're at higher likelihood of abnormal cells or cancer developing from high-risk HPV virus types. There's, at this moment in time, we know at least 14, even 15 high-risk virus types that can cause cancer, potentially, in men and women. Oral cancer, anal cancer, in women also vaginal and cervical cancer. And so this is a concerning virus type that has this risk potential. And yet right now in the standard medical system, the approach is to just wait to test, hopefully test and see if you have it, and then to screen and observe to see if your body does not clear it and if it causes abnormal cells. We're going to see that more and more and more people are finding out that they are testing positive for high-risk HPV. The research shows that at least 80% of us will test positive by age 50. And because there's more and more screening, more and more of us are going to find out. And so this is not a rare situation. I want you to know that you're not alone. This is a common virus and a common situation that's going to become even more common. The issue in my mind is that the standard medical approach isn't offering approaches to help you support your immune system to clear the virus to negative and prevent it from causing abnormal cells. And as a naturopathic doctor and certified professional midwife and clinical nutritionist, I've been helping women and men to do exactly that, to help their immune system and their body to protect them from high-risk HPV virus, clear it to negative, keep it negative, and prevent it from coming back again. And I've been doing that for over 25 years. So if I haven't met you before, I'm Dr. Doni Wilson, and I'm glad you are here. I'm glad you found me. I have so many resources and additional videos here, so I'll put links down below so that you can learn more. And I want you to just know that you're in the right place if you're wanting to be able to make sure you're in the 90% of people who clear HPV to negative and get it out of your body and out of your life, because this is exactly what I help people to do very successfully. And you're going to be able to see success cases on my website as well, so you can hear from patients who I've worked with, help them to, just like I can help you, to get rid of HPV and to then be able to protect yourself going forward. And I think one of the first things to understand is that it is possible for the human immune system to fully clear HPV. And there's a lot of myths out there about that, but I'm here to tell you that there's a lot you can do. The thing is that a lot of times when people first think, oh, I have high-risk HPV, I'm going to start taking a supplement, they start searching and they might find 1 or 2 different supplements that have more marketing or some research, some funding behind them. And yet those products may or may not be effective, may not be all that it takes. In fact, what I see with all of my experience is that it's not about a single magic pill. For example, a lot of people hear about a mushroom extract called AHCC, which is a shiitake mushroom extract. And there is research that was paid for by the company that patented the product And that research shows that it's 60 to 70% effective in helping to clear HPV, but it's not 100% effective. And what I find is so many patients come to me saying they're already taking HCC and still the virus isn't going away. So I want you to know, instead of just trying that and waiting 2 years to find out that it may or may not work for you, to know that it's not about a magic pill. This is not, just take this one pill or use this one suppository and the virus is going to be gone. I don't find that to be the case. If it was, I would tell you. I've, again, been helping people for over 25 years. And so I've had been in the situation of seeing, okay, this is someone who's already taking HCC at the recommended doses and it's not going away. We have to figure out what else are we missing, right? It's not just about a single supplement. It's not even about a bunch of supplements. It's not just about taking a random bunch of supplements. And I see people doing that all the time too. They might be grabbing some vitamin C and some vitamin C, E, and D, and a bunch of random nutrients along with some HCC. And that may or may not work either because it's not a strategic, comprehensive protocol that really gets to the bottom of why is your immune system not protecting you in the first place. Remember, the human immune system has the ability to protect us from HPV. So we have to be asking, why is your immune system not clearing it? And when we ask that question, that's when we discover what's making you susceptible as an individual. It's not the same for everyone, but there are some common susceptibilities. And so I'm going to be covering 5 of the most common underlying susceptibilities or root causes or factors that are making it harder for your immune system to fend off HPV potentially. And so we want to be able to consider these factors. And there is more than 5, but in this video, I'm going to cover the top 5 so that you have a sense of it and you can start to think about, hey, what is it that's right there in front of you, right? Oftentimes it's what's right in front of us that we've been ignoring or overlooking, or it's in our blind spot. And it's only once we start to look a little closer and expand our awareness that we start to go, oh, that's why HPV is showing up, because of these other things in my life that I haven't addressed, right? So the first one is stress and trauma. It could be stress in your current life. Even the stress of dealing with HPV can make you more susceptible to HPV, let alone stress from relationships and work and finances and so many more stresses that we go through, loss of loved ones and so on. There can also be trauma, even trauma back to your childhood and even ancestral trauma, because we know from research that when we're exposed to stress and trauma as humans, that it lowers our immune function, even for years into the future. So, and it's well established that when women are exposed to trauma in childhood, let alone trauma in adulthood, it increases risk of HPV and cervical cancer. So we have to be considering the emotional impact of stress and trauma, as well as the impact on our stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline and our neurotransmitters and the rest of our health. And so what I find also as a stress expert is the more that I help patients to recover from stress, the better they are able to protect themselves from high-risk HPV virus. And so what I want you to know is, because a lot of times people think, oh, I've had stress and trauma, but what can I do about it? We feel like we can't go back in time or fix it, and we feel like we're in the stressful situation, we can't get out of it. And so what I want you to know is that it's not just about having zero stress or trying to get out of your stressful experience. It's about supporting your body to recover from stress, even while under stress, right? So we're not trying to eliminate all the stress, and we're not trying to make stress wrong. We're trying to say, let's help you recover from stress. Let's make sure you're getting enough rest, sleep, healthy foods, hydration, and stress recovery activities like meditation, time in nature, breath work, and so on. There's so many possible recovery activities to help you recover from stress and trauma, heal from within, heal your emotionally and your body from all the stress and trauma, so that you can then not be at risk of HPV because of unaddressed stress and trauma. Okay, so it's about putting the focus on the recovery from stress and trauma. And even when we're exposed to stress and trauma, which we are going to be as humans, we're going to have stress and trauma exposure. It's going to happen. But we need to be taking care of ourselves through that and helping ourselves recover from that in order to prevent health issues going forward, including high-risk HPV and risk of cancer. And second reason that your immune system may not be protecting you is nutrient deficiencies. It's very common for us as humans to have nutrient deficiencies without realizing it. And even if you have regular blood work, right? If you go into your general practitioner for annual blood work, they're probably not going to test for nutrient deficiencies. Even if they test for certain vitamins, they often are not running the correct test. That I know as a naturopathic doctor and clinical nutritionist, there's different blood tests we do to identify actual nutrient deficiencies, and most doctors are not trained in those tests. So if your doctor's running a regular old B12 or folate test, that's not the right test. If they're running only an iron panel, that's not enough. So you need to be working with a practitioner like me who can tell you which test to do to identify nutrient deficiencies accurately, so that you can address those nutrient deficiencies. So many of us are deficient in vitamin D, for example, D like dog. So many of us are deficient in iron, but not everybody is deficient in iron. So we need to do the right testing, and including the B vitamins, which are related to something called methylation, which is how our body uses B vitamins to make healthy cells. If we aren't using our B vitamins to make healthy cells, or we don't have enough B vitamins, we're going to be more at risk of HPV causing abnormal cells. So we don't just want to give everybody the same dose. We want to be able to do the right test to get the right information for your body so that you can get the right doses for your body. And then you'll just know going forward, these are doses that your body needs ongoing to support adequate nutrient levels. So this is really essential and really important to get the right information in order to get the right doses and not just guess. Also, a third reason why your immune system might not be protecting you from HPV has to do with microbiome imbalances. The microbiome we hear about a lot is the gut microbiome, but there's also microbiome in the vagina and other areas of our body. But we need to be paying attention to that and acknowledging, hey, what's going on with your microbiome? If you've had to take antibiotics or other medications for that matter, very likely it could disrupt your microbiome, your healthy balance of bacteria, right? If we take antibiotics, we're going to kill some bacteria, and it allows for unhealthy bacteria to come in.
Ladies, high-risk HPV virus doesn't have to control your life. I'm Dr. Doni, and I've been at the forefront of women's health for over 20 years. I've helped thousands of women to clear HPV naturally with my proven protocol. And this isn't about just managing the virus, it's about eliminating it for good. Join my workshop and take control of your health and your body with an expert guide by your side. Click the button below.
Also, our diet can disrupt our microbiome. Like gluten, for example, is known to disrupt the microbiome. So if you consume a lot of gluten and gluten-containing foods, then that could disrupt your gut microbiome and your vaginal microbiome. If you're under stress, which we just talked about, that we all are under stress, that disrupts the microbiome. Exposure to toxins like pesticides disrupts your microbiome. So there's so many factors that can disrupt the gut microbiome, which is interconnected with the vaginal microbiome, let alone if you've had vaginal infections like yeast or BV. Those are imbalances in the vaginal microbiome because we have either an overgrowth of yeast or an overgrowth of bacteria, and that's a disruption in the microbiome. Whenever there's a disruption in the healthy bacteria, those healthy bacteria communicate with your immune system. So if the bacteria are out of balance, they're not going to send the right signal to your immune system, and they're not going to be able to protect you from HPV. So if you are testing positive for HPV, even if it's oral, anal, wherever it is, that has to start causing us to ask about the health of your microbiome. And we can do tests to identify this. It's not going to be at the regular doctor's office, though. Not going to be at the gastroenterologist. And even at the gynecologist, they're not doing the tests. We need a PCR analysis is what it's called. And we can do a PCR analysis of your stool. We can do a PCR analysis of your vagina. And so this way we can exactly see who's living there, and is there any bacteria that shouldn't be there, any yeast that shouldn't be there. We can identify exactly what's going on with your microbiome, and then we can address it. And we can address it usually not with antibiotics, with antimicrobial herbs and probiotics, and we go through a specific protocol to reestablish a healthy microbiome. I help people to do this all the time, and it's very possible to do. So you don't have to give up, right? You're not going to give up even if you've had stress. You know, we can recover from stress. If you have nutrient deficiencies, we can resolve nutrient deficiencies if we know they're occurring. If you have a microbiome imbalance, we can address a microbiome imbalance once we know that it's occurring. We got to do the right tests, and then you need someone like me who knows how to guide you through rebalancing your microbiome. Then a fourth area is hormone imbalances. Hormone imbalances do impact your body's ability to protect you from HPV. And I'm talking about hormones like estrogen, whether estrogen is too high or too low, cortisol, whether cortisol is too high or too low, and insulin as well, and especially what's called insulin resistance, when insulin is high and the blood sugar levels are high. But it can also be any kind of imbalance. So just think of it as any hormone that's not at optimal, right? Then that could influence your ability to clear HPV. In estrogen's case, we see both, where some cases where women have high estrogen and their body's not detoxifying it well, and maybe it's out of balance with progesterone, or women who are going through peri and postmenopause and they have low estrogen, and that can increase susceptibility as well. And we need to reestablish healthy estrogen levels in order to protect you from HPV-related cancer. Also, cortisol. When you're under stress and life, it can throw your cortisol either too high or too low. We don't want to assume. We need to test, right? So we can test all of these hormones. We can measure estrogen in blood or urine. We can measure cortisol in urine or saliva or blood. We can measure insulin in blood. So we can find out. It doesn't have to be a mystery. We can find out which hormones are out of balance. And so then I can guide you to get them back on track again. Not only are you going to get rid of HPV, but you're going to feel better, because when you have optimal estrogen, cortisol, insulin, and so on, your energy is going to be better, your sleep, your mood, everything. So it's a good thing when we get hormones back in balance, including thyroid, by the way, as also plays a role. And one of the fifth areas that I want to touch on today that increases your risk of HPV is toxin exposure. And this could be various different toxins from pesticides in our food, toxins from mold exposure if you're exposed to water damaged building or mold in your food. Mold exposure has toxins in it, and those toxins decrease your immune system's ability to protect you from infections like HPV. Also, toxins from the environment, from plastics and solvents and even chemicals in our cleaning products and makeup and so on. And so we need to go through a process of figuring out, have you been exposed to toxins, and help you to detoxify. There's tests that can tell us this. There are urine tests, for example, that measure for mold toxins. And there's urine tests that measure for environmental toxins, let alone for heavy metals. Because when we're exposed to so many toxins in our environment, not only does it lower our immune system, but it also affects our metabolism. Then our body has got more oxidative stress and increased likelihood of abnormal cells and cancer. So we would rather find out if you have certain toxins, and then I can design a detoxification program specific to the toxins that you're dealing with. Not all toxins require the same type of detoxification, right? So yes, you could do a general detox, and that can be very helpful. In fact, I've designed a detoxification program called the 14-Day Detox, which is a good starting place. And yet, if we really need to figure this out, it's better to do testing so we know exactly which toxins we're dealing with, and then I can tell you exactly what to do to help your body clear those toxins out successfully, safely, without causing you to feel worse. And that's oftentimes what happens. People will follow a detox program and end up feeling worse, not better. So we need to help you to feel better in the process, so that you can finally get those toxins out, get your body working better again, get your oxidative stress down, get your antioxidants up, drop inflammation, and help your body to protect you from HPV. So this is, I'm hoping, helping you to see that it's not just this, oh, I got exposed to the virus and now I have to deal with the virus forever. And it's not, oh, I'm just going to take AHCC or a mushroom extract forever. No, that's not the whole point here. The point is that if HPV is present and it's not going away, and that should tell you that your immune system is struggling to protect you. And we have to ask why. We have to say, why is your immune system struggling to protect you? What has not been helped or addressed? What tests do we need to do to identify what's making you susceptible? And then how do you work with a practitioner like me who knows how to help you address the things we find on the tests? And it's just not going to happen in a standard medical system. They don't do the right tests, and they don't have the training to address the information that you get from those tests. So if you want to know more, if you've had enough, right, you probably may also be experiencing other health symptoms, digestive issues, skin rashes, autoimmunity, fatigue, anxiety, sleep issues, because by the time HPV shows up, it's in a system that's already struggling. Right? There's already some nutrient deficiencies, hormone imbalances, microbiome imbalances. So your system's overwhelmed, even your nervous system. And so then the HPV can show up because it's a susceptible system. But when I can guide you to figure out what is making you susceptible, let's help your body heal, then your body's going to be able to protect you from HPV. Well established. It's not just me saying this. It's not just from my clinical experience. It is established in the research. It's just unfortunately not integrated into the standard medical system yet. So for now, the best way for you to get help that I can see is to contact my office, because I do offer care, one-on-one care for patients, and I offer group programs where you can work in a group with other patients to follow my steps to help you identify what's making you susceptible, to take clinically effective supplements and use clinically effective vaginal suppositories, safe and effective, case after case, so that we can help you as an individual to follow Dr. Doni's HPV protocol to finally clear HPV to negative, and in the process, help rebalance your whole body, help you recover from stress and trauma, so that you're going to be able to be resilient to HPV and resilient to other health issues going forward. So I'm so glad you found me, and I'll be glad to hear from you. If you'd like more help, please feel free to just reach out to my team. They're going to be able to help guide you what's the best solution for you in your case. I help people from around the world. So no matter where you're listening in from, I can help you virtually from anywhere. So just don't hesitate. It's hard to find someone like me anywhere locally. You know, there may be certain practitioners who know a little bit about this, but most times I find that most practitioners don't specialize in this area, and so they might only be able to help you a little bit. If it's not going away, then reach out to me, because I'm working with the cases oftentimes where people say, I've already tried taking this, I already tried changing my diet, I already tried these few supplements and it's still not going away. What do I do? Then I can tell you how to do the right tests and the right protocol to finally address what's going on under the surface that may not have been identified or addressed by your practitioner. So we're here in my team, in my office, and we can help you from wherever you are. Just reach out to us and we take it from there. Thanks so much for joining me here. If you're new, then I welcome you to subscribe wherever you're listening to this video so that you don't miss my next video. And you can also subscribe to my newsletter from a link down below so that you receive an email from me each week with my latest information and videos to help you along the way with your health journey. I'm glad to meet you, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.
Thanks for listening to How Humans Heal. If you liked this episode, leave a rating and a review. And for more resources, visit drdoni.com.